You feel it already. A restless pulse beneath your skin. A silent rhythm that no one else can hear. It is not the laughter you fake in crowded rooms, nor the easy smile worn like armor. No, this is something darker, something ancient and raw. It is the shadow inside you that calls out, pulls, demands attention without uttering a single word. You do not yet understand it fully, but others sense it, an invisible thread woven into the air around you, a magnetic force that twists the edges of perception. Look deeper. What is this power? It is not charm. Charm is a mask, a surface game played by those desperate to be seen. It is not confidence, that brittle facade of certainty people parrot when they cannot feel their own strength. This force is quieter, more dangerous, an energy that flickers in your eyes when you dare to stop pretending. It is the hunger that gnaws inside you, the loneliness that no crowded room can silence. The ache to be more than noticed, to be revered, to be feared, to be understood as something rare and unyielding. Why does this hunger exist? Because attraction is not a game of smiles or clever words. It is a war fought in shadows, a war where your mind and spirit are the battlefield. The world demands masks, illusions, and distractions. Yet beneath the noise, something primal stirs. You sense it in the sideways glances, in the breath that catches when you enter the room. Others do not know why they are drawn to you, but they are. They feel the undercurrent of power, the silent challenge you throw without speaking. They feel the presence of a man who walks with his own shadow, a shadow that stretches long. Dark and untouchable, you must learn to wield this shadow. It is your true weapon. Not the masks you wear, not the titles you claim, but the magnetic pull of your unspoken truth. It is a force born in silence, forged in solitude, sharpened by desire and loss. This power is not something you earn with trophies or accolades. It is something you uncover by stripping away the layers until only the core remains. Raw, jagged, and electric. Feel the weight of it now. The loneliness that unsettles your nights, the craving that refuses to be named. It is the hunger for reverence, not just fleeting affection. You do not want to be liked, you want to be indispensable, unforgettable. You want your presence to twist the very fabric of the room, to make others pause and rethink what they thought they knew. This hunger is a flame burning beneath your ribs, a secret you carry like a knife hidden in your palm. It is the beginning of your transformation, but beware, this power demands sacrifice. It requires you to look into the abyss within yourself and not turn away, to embrace the darkness that others fear, to accept that attraction is not kindness or ease, but a battlefield of power, perception, and control. Every glance, every word you speak or withhold is a move in this silent war. You are both the hunter and the prey, the shadow and the light that chases it. Do you understand now? Attraction is not a prize handed out by the world. It is a force you must claim, a throne you must seize with the iron will of your soul. It is the subtle manipulation of perception, the art of becoming a figure others cannot ignore, a presence that disturbs and captivates. The question is not how to be attractive, but how to become a force that others cannot resist. A siren's shadow lurking just beyond their grasp. Listen to that shadow. It speaks in silence. It demands you awaken. Rise above the surface illusions and own your invisible power. You are no longer a man lost in the crowd, begging for attention. You are the dark flame burning beneath the veneer of civility, the force that others feel but cannot name. This is the beginning of your true allure, the hidden power within. You, waiting to be unleashed, you are not meant to be fully known. The temptation to lay yourself bare, to spill every thought, every desire, every flaw, resist it. Mystery is the silent language of power. It is the space between your words, the shadow that flickers behind your eyes when you choose not to explain. What you conceal holds more weight than what you reveal. You are not an open book. You are a locked door, the key held only by you. And that very uncertainty pulls others into your gravity. Ask yourself, what happens when you show everything? When the masks fall and you stand naked before the world. The world does not crave transparency, it craves intrigue. You become a question, an enigma wrapped in silence. Others lean in, compelled by the void you create, desperate to fill it. The unknown breeds obsession. They chase what they cannot touch, haunted by the fragments you leave behind like BREADCRUMBS. Control this dynamic. Reveal only what serves. Your strategy, your emotions, your thoughts, your intentions, all are weapons when wielded with precision. Each word you speak, each glance you allow, is a calculated move in a game unseen. Let your presence tease, hint, and withdraw. Pull back just as they reach out, leaving them grasping at shadows. The tension between absence and presence is your most potent seduction. It is a dance of power, never fully revealed, never fully grasped. Feel the power in silence. It is not emptiness. It is filled with possibility. In your quiet, the world writes stories you never told. They project their fantasies, their fears, their desires onto you. You become the canvas for their own cravings. And in this space, you hold dominion. You are no longer a man among men. You are the mystery they cannot solve, the riddle they cannot resist. Your aura crafted, deliberate pulls others into your orbit without a word. The less they know, the more they want to know. Desire is born in the dark, in the spaces where understanding fails. By mastering concealment, you become the master of emotional tension, a silent puppeteer tugging at the strings of fascination and longing. The unknown is your fortress. Those who enter must come on your terms. What if you stripped away this mask? Would you still command attention, or would you fade into the noise? The truth is, attraction thrives not on familiarity, but on the allure of the unrevealed. Mystery whispers that there is more beneath the surface, danger, depth, complexity. You become a force that unsettles, that disrupts the comfortable. You are the silence in the conversation, the shadow in the light. You do not owe the world your truths. You owe only your power. By mastering the art of selective revelation, you create a narrative that others crave to unravel, but never fully can. This is the essence of your command, to be a figure both seen and unseen, a presence both near and untouchable. Your mask is not a lie. It is a strategic veil, a barrier that protects your inner flame from being extinguished by careless hands. Do you feel the weight of this control? The electric charge in withholding. It is a tension that sharpens your influence, that hones your presence into something rare and magnetic. Mystery is your shield and your spear, a paradox of closeness and distance that fuels desire. You command the unknown not by hiding in fear, but by choosing exactly what to reveal and when to retreat. This is your power, the silent mastery of absence, the strategic withholding of self. In this balance, you become irresistible. You do not chase. You do not explain. You simply exist as the unknown force others cannot resist, the mask that reveals everything by revealing almost nothing. Your allure is born in the space between presence and absence. In the dance of light and shadow you control so effortlessly. Within you lies a kingdom unseen, vast, unyielding, and silent. This is your empire, forged not from walls or armies, but from the fortress of your mind and spirit. It is here, in this hidden citadel, where true attractiveness is born. It does not shout. It does not seek validation. Instead, it radiates with the quiet force of a ruler who knows that power is not measured by noise, but by control unwavering, absolute and invisible. Do you feel the tremors of chaos that threaten to fracture your calm? The impulses that tug at your attention, the doubts that whisper you are less than what you should be? These are the rebellious factions within your empire, testing the limits of your reign. But sovereignty means you do not bow to their whims. You observe, you endure, and you choose your response. This is your dominion, the mastery of your emotions, the discipline to act not from impulse, but from intent. Your power grows in silence. It is the confidence that does not need to announce itself, the presence that fills the room without demanding space. Others sense it immediately, a gravity that pulls without force, a calm so profound it unsettles the restless. You do not crave approval because you are the standard. Your authority is not given. It is seized through relentless inner work, through the refusal to be ruled by fleeting feelings or external chaos. Ask yourself, who controls you? Is it your fears, your desires, your doubts? Or is it you who commands these shadows within? The moment you stop reacting, you begin to rule. You create distance between stimulus and response, and in that gap, power blooms. This silent sovereignty becomes your shield and sword. It protects you from the storms outside and the storms within. There's a misconception that dominance must be loud, aggressive, and visible. But the most formidable power is quiet. It is the stillness beneath the tempest, the unbreakable spine. In the face of collapse, when you cultivate this inner empire, your confidence is not a fragile mask but a bedrock. You do not seek to impress. You simply exist as a force that others cannot ignore or undermine. Feel the weight of this truth. Your empire is built on the mastery of yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. Each moment of restraint, each choice to rise above. Distraction or agitation is a brick laid in your fortress. This construction is slow, painstaking, invisible to the untrained eye. Yet it forms the foundation of an irresistible presence. Power, in its purest form, is the ability to command your own inner world, to walk through chaos untouched, to stand firm while others falter. This sovereignty is magnetic because it signals one truth above all: you are whole. You do not seek completion from outside forces because you are already complete. This completion breeds respect, desire, and an undeniable gravitational pull. You do not need to shout for the world to hear you. Your silence speaks volumes. It is the quiet authority that tells others you are not a man to be trifled with. This is the real game beyond charm, beyond beyond surface-level allure. It is the power that radiates from a man who rules himself first and foremost. Look inward now. Feel the pulse of your silent empire, the vast terrain of your mind and spirit waiting for your command. It demands vigilance, discipline, and a ruthless refusal to be ruled by weakness. But in return, it offers something no external force can grant: freedom, freedom from doubt, freedom from chaos, freedom from the need to prove yourself. This is the empire where true attractiveness lives. It is not crafted by others' approval or fleeting desire. It is forged in solitude, in the quiet battles waged within your soul. Sovereignty is your crown. Self-mastery is your throne. And the power that flows from this silent empire is the force that makes you truly irresistible. Hold this truth like a blade. Your dominion begins now, not in the eyes of the world, but in the unshakable reign over yourself you carry within. You a storm, not the reckless chaos of tempest-tossed waves, but a controlled, simmering force, an internal fire burning with quiet intensity. This storm is your energy, raw and untamed, yet it waits for your command to transmute into something far more potent. Presence is this alchemy, the transformation of inner turmoil into magnetic influence. It is the unseen currency that turns heads, arrests breaths, and bends the atmosphere to your will. Do you feel how easily energy slips through your fingers? How emotions swell, then crash, leaving you drained or scattered? That is the power you have yet to master. The first step is to own your storm, to stop being its prisoner. You do not unleash every gust. You learn when to summon the gale and when to fold into the stillness. Presence is not volume, it is precision. It is the mastery of timing, the subtle orchestration of energy that makes others lean in, mesmerized. Your eyes hold this secret. Not the glance cast carelessly, but the gaze that lingers just long enough to unsettle certainty. It is the flicker of intensity beneath calm, the quiet promise of depth no one can name. You become an architect of atmosphere, shaping the invisible space between you and the world. This is no accident. It is deliberate, strategic. You craft an emotional environment where attraction no longer feels like a choice, it becomes inevitable. Feel the pulse of your breath, the rhythm of your heartbeat. These are instruments in your symphony of presence. Control them, and you control the tempo of every interaction. The calm eye at the center of your storm is a refuge others seek, even if they do not understand why. It is a paradox. The more controlled your internal energy, the stronger its pull. This is the power of alchemy, turning raw emotion into a silent command. Ask yourself, when do you lose yourself to the chaos? When does your energy scatter like sparks in the wind? The answer lies in your awareness. Presence demands your full attention, not scattered thoughts or fleeting distractions. It requires you to anchor yourself in the moment, to become fully embodied, fully aware of the invisible currents swirling around you. This embodiment is your vessel, your shield, your weapon. You do not just enter a room, you inhabit it. Every gesture, every breath, every pause becomes a note in your composition of influence. Timing is your ally. Knowing when to speak, when to hold silence, when to shift your energy. This is the subtle dance of power. You become a master of emotional pacing, guiding others through the currents you create, drawing them deeper into your orbit. This alchemy is not manipulation in its crude form. It is the art of alignment, aligning your internal energy with the external moment. When you do this, influence flows effortlessly. Others respond not because you demand it, but because you emanate a force that cannot be resisted. Your presence becomes a gravitational pull, a silent law of attraction written into the fabric of interaction. Imagine your energy as molten metal, raw and dangerous. Without control, it burns and scatters. But in your hands, it forges weapons, crowns, and thrones. The alchemy of presence is your ability to shape this energy, cooling, directing, intensifying it into something formidable yet elegant. This transformation is your signature, your invisible mark on the world. Remember, the calm at the center of your storm is where power lives. The chaos around you is irrelevant when you have learned to move through it unshaken. Your presence becomes a sanctuary and a challenge, an invitation and a warning. Others are drawn to it instinctively, caught in the gravitational field of your controlled energy. You hold the key to this transformation. Master your internal storm, and you become the silent ruler of influence. Your presence will no longer be a flicker, but a blaze, one that commands the room, unsettles certainty, and awakens desire. This is the alchemy of presence, the art of turning raw energy into the invisible force that shapes reality around you. You stand at the threshold of a maze, its walls twisting and folding in shadows, the labyrinth of desire. It is not a place you conquer by brute force, but one you navigate with a ruthless mind, a patient heart, and the subtlety of a serpent. Desire is never given freely. It is earned through invisible currents, whispered signals, and the silent architecture of fascination. To master attraction, you must become a strategist and architect of the mind, a weaver of emotions. Do you sense how often others hide behind masks, their true intentions buried beneath layers of facade? The labyrinth is filled with these veils, false desires, hidden fears, conflicting motives. Your task is to see beyond the surface, to read the unspoken language of the body and the flicker of thought behind guarded eyes. This is your battlefield, the mind of others, where power is not taken but drawn out, coaxed from shadow to light. The signs are subtle, a hesitation, a glance that lingers, a shift in tone. These fragments of truth are your compass. But they are also traps, designed to mislead the unwary. You must learn to discern what is genuine from what is calculated, what is weakness from what is strength disguised. The labyrinth does not reward haste. It demands patience, a slow and deliberate unraveling of the knot that binds each soul. Plant your seeds carefully. Fascination grows not from exposure, but from mystery threaded with promise. You offer glimpses of your depths without surrendering. The whole. You evoke emotion not by revealing yourself, but by stirring what lies dormant in others, their curiosity, their yearning, their hidden shadows. This weaving of invisible narratives is your art. It pulls others into your orbit, tangled and unable to escape the gravity of your presence. Ask yourself, what stories do you tell silently? What emotions do you awaken without words? Desire is not a battle of declarations, but a dance of insinuations and suggestion. The labyrinth is shaped by the invisible scripts you write through your presence, your gestures, your silences. You do not force attraction. You orchestrate its inevitability by crafting an environment where others lose themselves in pursuit. Beware the illusions that lurk in the twists of the maze. Not all that glitters is longing, and not every glance holds truth. You must maintain your clarity, your distance, your ability to see the game unfolding beneath the surface. The strategist never loses sight of the endgame, the subtle shifting of power in the shadows, the quiet conquest of the will. You navigate this labyrinth with a steady hand and a cold heart. Each interaction is a move on the chessboard, calculated, precise, unseen. You influence not through domination, but through weaving threads of connection that bind others to your will without them realizing it. This is the dark art of desire, to captivate, to hold, to lead without chains. Feel the weight of this responsibility. To master attraction is to command the invisible forces shaping minds and hearts. It is a power that transcends mere charm or looks. It is the strategic mastery of human nature, the ability to shape the labyrinth itself and move within it as both hunter and sovereign. Your dominion grows with every step deeper into the maze, every glance decoded, every seed planted. The labyrinth of desire is not a trap, but a throne, one reserved for those who can see beyond the surface, who can bend the currents of emotion and thought to their will. This is your realm. Navigate it with ruthless intelligence and quiet confidence, and you will become the unseen master of attraction itself. In a world drowning in masks, where every gesture can be a lie, authenticity becomes your sharpest weapon, a blade forged in fire and truth. You must understand this paradox. The most Machiavellian among men are not those who weave endless webs of deceit, but those who wield authenticity with ruthless precision. It is the edge that cuts through the noise, the endless chatter, and the shallow facades others hide behind. It is the unyielding force that demands attention, not through falsehood, but through raw, unfiltered presence. Ask yourself, how often have you worn mask to blend in, to survive, to please? How many times have you sacrificed your truth for acceptance, for a fleeting illusion of connection? These moments are the chains that bind you, weakening your power. True authenticity demands something far more dangerous: the courage to stand naked in your own light, to reveal your shadows alongside your strengths. It is the alignment of who you are inside with what you show to the world. This blade is not a blunt instrument. It is finely honed, requiring constant sharpening through self-awareness and brutal honesty with yourself. The spiritual depth of authenticity lies in this unrelenting self-scrutiny, the willingness to confront your flaws, your fears, and your darkest impulses without flinching. This is where true power lies, not in perfection, but in the acceptance of your full, complex nature. Your authenticity becomes magnetic because it is rare, because it is genuine, because it demands a response. Others sense it instinctively, the undeniable energy of a man who is whole, who does not bend or break beneath the weight of expectation. You build trust not through empty promises or manipulative charm, but through a consistent, unshakable presence. This trust is a currency far more valuable than any fleeting admiration. In wielding this blade, you carve out space where others crumble under the pressure of pretense. You become a force that disrupts the patterns of deception and superficiality around you. This disruption is not chaos. It is a controlled, deliberate dismantling of illusions that cloud perception and dull desire. When you are authentic, you become a beacon of clarity in a fog of confusion. But beware, the blade of authenticity cuts both ways. It exposes you, makes you vulnerable. This vulnerability is not weakness, but power's rawest form. It is the refusal to hide, to shrink, or to conform. It demands you hold your ground when the world recoils from your truth. This is your crucible, where inner sovereignty is forged in the heat of exposure. The alignment with your highest self that authenticity offers is more than spiritual, it is strategic. It roots your power in reality, in unshakable self-knowledge that no external force can undermine. When you move from this place, your influence transcends manipulation. It becomes inevitable, natural, undeniable. You do not seek to please, to perform, or to appease. You seek only to be, fully and unapologetically. This radical acceptance of self disarms resistance and ignites a magnetic pull. It is a silent roar that commands attention and respect without uttering a word. It is the blade that slices through facades and reveals the raw, unyielding core beneath. Hold this blade close. Let it cut away the falsehoods you have clung to. Let it carve a path through the fog of deception that clouds your vision and dulls your power. In this cutting lies liberation, your liberation, and the birth of a presence so real, so fierce, that it leaves no room for pretense. This is the ultimate act of Machiavellian mastery, to be so authentically yourself that the world cannot help but yield. Your power becomes unassailable, not because you hide behind lies, but because you stand naked in your truth, a razor's edge against the tide of illusion. You stand now on the edge of something far greater than fleeting desire or hollow validation. This is no longer about surface attraction or the shallow masks worn to capture attention. This is the path of the eternal flame, the relentless, unyielding fire burning deep within your soul, a fire that cannot be extinguished by circumstance, rejection, or fleeting applause. It is the fire of mastery, silent, consuming, infinite. Yourself. What does it mean to truly master yourself? Is it control, power, or something more profound, an alignment so deep that every thought, every movement, every breath radiates sovereignty? You are called now to transcend the temporary, the external, the superficial cravings that have driven you thus far. To walk this path means becoming the embodiment of a force so magnetic, so authentic, it cannot be denied or ignored. This mastery is not a destination, but an endless journey. It is a spiral, ever deeper, ever higher, where your strength is measured not by what you conquer in the world, but by what you conquer within yourself. The anger, the doubt, the loneliness, the hunger, they become the fuel, not the shackles. Each moment of struggle, each fracture in your armor, is an invitation to deepen your flame, to burn brighter in the darkness. Your attraction, true, magnetic, unassailable attraction, no longer relies on tricks or facades. It emerges naturally, like dawn breaking through a storm. It is the quiet power of a man who knows his worth without demanding it, who commands respect without shouting, who inspires awe not through force, but through presence. This is the paradox of mastery, strength wrapped in stillness, dominance clothed in humility. Integrity becomes your armor, wisdom your sword, silent strength your signature. You move through the world not as a predator or a performer, but as a sovereign, unshaken by chaos, unmoved by praise or scorn. This is the essence of the eternal flame, a power that burns steadily beneath the noise, beneath the masks, beneath The fickle tides of desire. Look inward. What parts of you still flicker with uncertainty? What fears whisper lies about your value? These shadows are not your enemies, but your allies, signposts on your journey, challenges to your flame's endurance. To master yourself is to embrace these shadows, to invite them into the fire until they transform into light. This alchemy is the sacred dance of power and vulnerability, destruction and creation. Your life becomes a living testament to this fire, an ever-burning beacon that draws others not because you chase them, but because they are irresistibly pulled into your orbit. This is the attraction that echoes in silence, that lingers long after words have faded. It is the power of a man who lives by his own code, whose presence alters reality itself. The eternal flame asks more than commitment. It demands sacrifice, the surrender of ego, the release of control, the acceptance of uncertainty. But in this surrender, you find freedom. Freedom from the endless need for approval, from the exhausting chase of desire, from the illusion of separation. You become whole, and in that wholeness, irresistible. Can you feel it now? The steady pulse beneath your skin, the call to rise above the transient and claim your place as a master of your inner world. This is not for the faint of heart. It is a path forged in solitude, walked in silence, and witnessed only by those who dare to see beyond the surface. You are the eternal flame. You are the shadow and the light, the storm and the calm. The path ahead will test you, shape you, refine you. But with every step you burn brighter, drawing others into a fire they cannot resist, a power they cannot deny. Walk this path with eyes wide open and heart unguarded. Let the flame consume what no longer serves, and illuminate what is yet to become. This is your calling, to become a force beyond fleeting desire, a presence so profound that attraction becomes an extension of your soul. Master yourself. Become irresistible. Become eternal.